Staying with reaction at some of those hotly contested municipalities across the country after the results were officially announced last night. Let's now take you to Nelson Mandela Bay in the Eastern Cape, where our reporter Govan Whittles is right now. Govan, how are negotiations for a coalition government going there?
Definitely looks like the ANC is coming into power in Nelson Mandela Bay. Maseko leading a coalition with the EFF at least being seriously courted by them right now, and the Democratic Alliance looking like they're on track to remain in the opposition benches. The DA has the ACDP, possibly UDM and the Freedom Front Plus, who they could partner with. But in this instance, it's the ANC which has the stronger potential coalition partners, and it's definitely the ANC that seems to be making serious headway with the talks with other parties, particularly with the Northern Alliance, and as well as the Defenders of the People, who got 3 seats and 2 seats respectively. But it's those 8 seats by the EFF that will determine which way the council goes. And right now it does look like it's leaning towards the ANC. Of course, the big debate at this point will be who will be the next mayor of Nelson Mandela Bay. We understand that the leader of the Abantu Integrity Movement, Brakusta Jack, is in talks with the Democratic Alliance. He wants to be mayor, but he's only got 1 seat. And we know that the National Working Committee of the ANC will deliberate on how to conclude these negotiations for coalitions, but also give direction on who the ANC would approve to be the mayor in this region. They could pick the regional task team coordinator, Luyolo Nakula, but it looks like they may parachute someone in, possibly from the national office or at least the provincial office, to come and take the position of mayorship here. That would mean that the ANC would be firmly in control of Nelson Mandela Bay, and only if they accede to some requests by the EFF for strategic mayoral committee positions such as infrastructure, roads and transport, that could mean the ANC, or rather the EFF, getting more power here in the Bay. But it does seem like the DA is almost certainly going to opposition benches, and the ANC is looking set to take back control of Nelson Mandela Bay.
And that's exactly what the Dula Omar was saying, Govan, about, these talks about who's going to take what position is what is supposed to not be negotiated. But when I look at the numbers here for Nelson Mandela Bay, Govan, and correct me if I'm wrong, the DA at 39.9 and the ANC at 39.4%, and then the EFF coming in third at 6.4. So if the EFF gives the ANC, for instance, their 6.4%, it still means they need to negotiate with more. Am I wrong?
Yeah, they'll still need the support of at least 2 other parties. But remember that the Northern Alliance and Defenders of the People are viewed as basically ANC surrogates, parties that contested the election with a clear indication that they would ally with the ANC once they come into power. And both parties have said that that's not what they are. They're independent, legitimate movements. But we know for a fact that they are more inclined to go with the ANC, particularly as the path to power for them seems more likely through the ANC, and they're hesitant about what the Democratic Alliance would be able to offer them in the elections, particularly after the DA's campaign during this election specifically asked voters not to vote for small parties and called it a waste of their vote. But everything is open at this stage, but it is the ANC with 48 seats and the DA also with 48 seats in council that will be making the big moves here. The EFF has 8 seats. They've grown from 6 seats to 8 seats, so they're the real winner in this election. And the DA is the biggest loser in this election. They lost 9 seats from 2016 to 2021. That's the biggest loss in the metro. And the ANC lost 2 seats. And the ANC also managed to get a ward back from the EFF. So the ANC will need to go out there and bargain, but it looks like it already has a few partners that are willing to go into coalition with it. The only thing for the ANC to do now is to confirm that the EFF is on side, and they'll be able to form a coalition government.
Just very quickly, Govan, because I'm running out of time. Ngaba Banga, has he said anything to you after, like you rightly said, the DA being the biggest loser in the municipality?
Ngaba Banga says he won't work with the EFF. He said that for a fact, and he also says he has no problem going into opposition benches. We understand Ngaba may head back to the provincial legislature in the Eastern Cape in Bisho, And remember, Ngaba's the head of the DA in the Eastern Cape. So he does command a lot of structures in the province. We understand him not to be happy about this, but he seems to have accepted the party line that they won't work with the EFF. And because they can't work with the EFF, they'd have to convince all the other small opposition parties or smaller parties to get into a coalition with them. That'll be difficult to do, considering what we've just highlighted around the DOP and the Northern Alliance, and particularly with the Patriotic Alliance, although we understand them to be willing to work with anyone in the metro as long as they could get a share of the pie. So Ngaba Banga might go back to Bisho. We might see him in the opposition benches here in the Nelson Mandela Bay Council.
All right, Govan Whittle's out for us in Gqeberha. Thank you. Let's leave it there for now.